Hello, it's Peter Whittle. I'm here to wish you a very happy new year for 2024. Tonight, obviously, people will be celebrating, whether in families or on their own. You might really wonder whether there's much really to celebrate. I understand that totally. It's very hard to be optimistic when you look at the state of our country. However, obviously, life does go on, but we all have wishes and fears for the coming year. I would say that I have a few wishes for 2024 after what has been a pretty tough year, 2023. What do I wish for? Well, first of all, with an election coming up, it's my profound wish that the Tory party is seriously obliterated. I think that is the only way in which we can move forward and get any kind of real Conservative government in place. It will take a long time, but whether it happens before the election or indeed afterwards, I'm pretty convinced, in a way that I haven't been for quite some time, that there will be major change afoot, and it might take the form of a new party. But before that can happen, we have to get rid of this useless so-called Conservative Party. That's one of my profound wishes for this coming year. The other one, I think, is that I hope people wake up a bit to what actually is happening to this country. There's no question about it that last year, a lot of people's eyes were open, particularly in autumn time, in October and November, when we had the demonstrations against Israel in London. Now, whatever your views on that conflict, what became very, very clear to people was that there were hundreds of thousands of people who had no desire at all to observe our particular traditions. One of the biggest demonstrations of the lot happened on Remembrance Day, if you remember. Quite extraordinary. And people looked and thought, well, who are these people and why are they saying this kind of thing? Open support for terrorism and slaughter on the streets of the capital. And that's still going on. I think that that really did open a lot of people's eyes, but still in our country, there are many people who don't quite get the severity of the situation. Obviously, it's something that we do all the time at the New Culture Forum, talk about, discuss and emphasize. But it takes a long time. These things take a long time for the penny to drop. And we have to really look at the situation and say, well, you know, actually, whether we're talking about Israel, whether we're talking about trans rights, whether we're talking about migration, whether even we're talking about the BBC and the way in which it presents various different programs and great classics of Western literature, all around us, basically, there is an attack going on. Things become very, very clear when you realize that that is actually what is behind all of these things which seem very, very unrelated. It takes a long time for the penny to drop, really, on that. And I really fervently wish that this year we will see progress on that front. So that is really what I hope. You might say, well, what can the New Culture Forum do in these circumstances? Well, we have been doing a lot. Our influence has grown, there's no question about that. We have now got a network of branches all around the UK. That's the sort of thing think tanks on the whole don't do, and we've done it, and we're going to be hugely increasing those in the new year. But what we've just done as well is produce a book which is sold out already on Amazon. It will be available in a few days' time again to buy from Amazon, called State of Emergency. And what it actually does is it enumerates 10 points that we think at least should be affected if Britain is to survive and if British culture is to survive. I wanted really to read those 10 out to you. What we're going to be doing is putting these pledges to parliamentary candidates standing in the general election, whether that might be in May or it might be in December or wherever. But we will be putting these pledges to them to see if they agree, and actually to try to work out actually where they really stand on these issues. We've put a lot of thought into them. So maybe if you just indulge me, I will read them out. They're not very long. This is our book, State of Emergency, and this is what we think should happen for Britain to repair itself. First of all, number one, there must be a permanent end to mass migration. That is, without question, the overriding issue here. Number two, the UK must withdraw from the European Convention on Human Rights. Number three, the Equality Act must be abolished. Number four, the thorough, balanced history of Britain and its achievements must be taught to every pupil in every school to the age of 16. Number three, it must be stated unequivocally that there is no blasphemy law in this country, and that any attempt to establish a de facto one will be actively prevented by the government. Number six, the concepts in law of hate and harmful speech must be scrapped. Number seven, there must be a complete ban on the teaching, as though it were fact, of critical race theory, gender ideology, and all other associated ideologies in schools across the entire curriculum. Number eight, there must be a ban on compulsory attendance at so-called diversity, equity and inclusion courses and unconscious bias sessions and any associated ideologically driven schemes. Number nine, all institutions and quangos, including publicly funded broadcasters, which stray from their core purpose by prioritising ideology, must be challenged and, if necessary, lose any form of public funding, whether that's indirect or direct. And finally, number 10, those bodies which, instead of promoting Britain and caring for its history and heritage, actively undermine it, should be replaced by another that does, or all public funding will be withdrawn. Now, we will put these, as I said, to candidates standing in the election. They're very considered proposals, and we believe that our influence is growing to the extent that they certainly will be looked at, and indeed people will be forced in a way to show their hand on where they stand on these issues. It's been a very, very tough year, as I said, but I am optimistic in a way that I wouldn't have been 2 or 3 years ago. And that is because whatever happens this year, there is going to be some form of major change. And I think that we should be optimistic about that. In the meantime, though, with only a few hours to go, I would really like to wish you once again, on behalf of the New Culture Forum, our team and all the people around the country, a very prosperous and healthy new year. And we shall see you again in 2024. Okay, take care.